Today, we expose 5 supermarket roast chickens that are quietly sabotaging your health, draining your wallet, and leaving you with a plate of salty, waterlogged disappointment. These chickens are injected with industrial brine solutions containing up to 20% added weight, raised in conditions that would shock you, and marketed with labels that sound ethical but hide a greasy truth. And yes, by the end of this video, you'll know the 3 Australian options that are actually worth your money and your family's trust. Let's start with a reality check. Australians have been told that a hot roast chicken from Coles or Woolies is the ultimate weeknight hack. It's cheap, it's convenient, and it's ready to go. But what if I told you that $10 chicken is only $10 because it's been pumped full of water, salt, and mystery flavor solutions to bulk up its weight? That juicy texture you think is premium? It's not rendered fat or careful cooking. It's injected brine, often making up 15 to 20% of what you're actually paying for. These birds are raised in industrial systems where speed matters more than welfare, and the RSPCA-approved sticker is more about marketing than meaningful change. The result is a product that looks golden and delicious under the heat lamps, but falls apart into a stringy, salty mess the moment you cut into it. And the real kicker: you're consuming nearly a full day's worth of sodium in a single breast. So which brands are the worst offenders? Let's carve into the truth. Number 1. Coles Classic Roast Chicken. This is the one that shows up in millions of Aussie shopping trolleys every week. It's positioned as the reliable, affordable family staple. But pull it apart, and you'll notice something strange. The meat feels almost spongy, and liquid pools in the bottom of the container. That's not natural chicken juice. That's injected brine leaking out. Coles lists solution ingredients that include water, salt, and natural flavors, a vague term that can hide dozens of undisclosed compounds. The sodium content? A single serving delivers 470 milliliters of sodium, nearly 20% of your daily limit in just one small portion. But here's what the label won't tell you. The chicken is often already dry underneath all that salt water. Shoppers on product review have called it dry and crusty, with meat that shrivels up around the legs and wings, making it borderline inedible. So why does it taste so bland if it's loaded with salt? Because the industrial brine process masks the lack of actual chicken flavor. You're tasting saline solution, not pasture-raised poultry. And if that's what passes for classic, you have to wonder what premium even means anymore. But hold on, because Woolworths has their own version of this scam, and it's dressed up to look even more wholesome. Number 2. Woolworths Country-Style Hot Roast Chicken. Woolies sells this as a home-style, rustic option, like something your grandma would pull from the oven. But the reviews tell a different story. Customers on product review describe it as very dry, with some throwing entire birds in the bin because the texture was so tough and stringy. The country-style seasoning is a powdery rub that tastes more like processed spice mix than fresh herbs. And underneath, the same industrial brine injection system. The skin, which should be crispy and golden, often turns out rubbery and pale, suggesting it was steamed in its own saline bath rather than properly roasted. One shopper noted that recent batches had a slimy texture near the bones, raising questions about how long these birds sit in warming trays before being sold. So why does Woolworths keep pushing this as a premium option? Because the branding works. It feels wholesome. It feels Australian. But what you're biting into is a factory-farmed bird that's been engineered to look rustic while cutting every corner on quality. And if you think that's deceptive, wait until you see how Aldi takes the salt game to a whole new level. Number 3. Aldi Butterflied Roast Chicken. Aldi is the hero of budget shopping, And their butterflied chicken looks like a steal. It's bigger, it's cheaper, and it's ready to carve. But here's where things get uncomfortable. Reviewers consistently report that Aldi chicken tastes too salty, with some saying it's overpowering and leaves your mouth feeling dehydrated. The texture is another red flag. The meat can be weirdly mushy, almost like it's been mechanically tenderized by the brine injection process. One customer described the Greek-style version as tasting artificial, while another found the meat so unevenly cooked that the spine was the largest part of the serve. The solution pumped into these birds is often laden with natural flavors and phosphates to help the meat retain water, so you're literally paying for saltwater weight. And because Aldi sources from large-scale industrial farms to keep prices low, the chicken itself starts with less flavor. The brine is there to compensate for bland meat, not enhance good meat. If you're feeding this to your kids thinking it's a healthy protein source, you need to ask, how much of that weight is actual nutrition and how much is just saline? But the salt issue is only half the story, because at Costco, the problems go from sodium to something that looks genuinely concerning. Number 4. Costco rotisserie chicken. This is the one that divides the internet. Costco's $7.99 chicken is famous for its size and price, but dig into the reviews and a disgusting pattern emerges. Shoppers report finding big white translucent goops inside the meat, especially near the bones. The color is suspiciously pink, even in the thigh meat, which makes some people worry it's undercooked. But here's the part nobody talks about. That goop is likely congealed protein and brine that has been forced into the muscle tissue and then partially cooked out. It's not appetizing. It's not natural. It's a byproduct of industrial brining at massive scale. The chicken is also overly moist to the point of being waterlogged, which means you're getting less actual meat per kilo than you think. Critics point out that the flavor is bland and artificial, lacking any real roast character. So why do people keep buying it? Because it's cheap, and the size makes it feel like a bargain. But if you have to throw away half because of weird textures and questionable goop, is it really good value? And if you're noticing a pattern here, brine, blandness, and industrial processing, you're starting to see the system for what it is. But the most heartbreaking deception is saved for those trying to do the right thing. Number 5. Woolworths Macro Free Range Roast Chicken. This is the one that really hurts. Woolies markets this as the ethical, health-conscious choice. Free range, RSPCA approved, 100% Australian chicken. It sounds perfect. But flip the packaging and the ingredient list tells a different story. The chicken is only 89% actual chicken. The rest is a solution containing water, salt, citrus fiber, natural flavors, vegetable powders, and gums like carrageenan and xanthan gum. That's right, your free-range bird is still injected with a chemical slurry to boost weight and shelf life. The sodium content is 260 milliliters per 100, which is lower than some, but still significant when you eat a whole leg and breast. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Free range in industrial systems often means little more than a slightly larger shed with a door to a concrete yard. The chickens may not even use it, so you're paying a premium for a label that suggests ethical farming. But the end product is still processed, pumped, and packaged using the same industrial playbook as the budget birds. The taste? Reviewers say it's artificial and doesn't deliver on the promise of real chicken flavor. If this is what ethical looks like, you have to wonder if the whole system is broken. The pattern revealed. Do you see what's happening? From Kohl's to Costco, from budget to premium, the same playbook is being used. Industrial farming to keep costs down, brine injection to mask poor quality, vague natural flavors to hide chemical additives, and marketing that leans on Aussie nostalgia and ethical buzzwords to make you feel good about buying it. This isn't about one bad brand. It's a system designed to turn a low-margin product into a high-profit staple by selling you water at meat prices. The chickens are raised to grow at unnatural speeds, their bodies so top-heavy they can barely walk. They're slaughtered, injected, bagged, and shipped to stores where they sit under heat lamps for hours, drying out while the brine leaks into the container. The RSPCA-approved sticker costs the company a licensing fee, but it doesn't stop the brine injection. The free-range label meets a legal definition that has nothing to do with the chicken's quality of life. And you, the shopper, are left trying to feed your family something wholesome while being fed a story. But you don't have to accept it. Now, let's talk about the 3 options that are actually worth your time. Number 1. Inglewood Farms True Free-Range Rotisserie Chicken. If you can find this at an independent butcher or select retailers, you're looking at the real deal. These birds are genuinely free-range, with access to pasture and a diet that isn't just soy and corn. The ingredient list is simple: chicken, salt, maybe a rub of herbs. No brine injection, no solution. The meat is denser, the flavor is actually chicken-like, and the skin crisps up properly because it hasn't been steamed in its own saltwater bath. Yes, it costs more, often $15 to $18, but you're paying for 100% chicken, not 80% chicken, and 20% brine. The texture is firm but tender, and you won't find any mysterious goop near the bones. This is what a roast chicken is supposed to be. The skin crackles when you bite it. The meat has a depth of flavor that comes from the bird actually moving around, eating bugs and grass, developing real muscle tissue. When you carve it, the juices that run out are actual fat and natural moisture, not saline solution pooling in the tray. It's the difference between eating food and eating a product. Number 2. Your local butcher's own rotisserie. Here's a secret. Many butchers roast their own chickens in-store using birds from local suppliers. They don't need to inject them because they're selling them fresh, not holding them for hours under heat lamps. Ask your butcher what they use. If they say, "We just season and roast them ourselves," you've struck gold. The flavor will be cleaner, the meat less watery, and you're supporting a local business that actually cares about repeat customers. These chickens often cost around $12 to $14, which is less than the premium supermarket birds, but delivers far more quality. Plus, you can ask them to hold one for you so it's fresh out of the oven when you arrive. The skin will be genuinely crisp, not rubbery. The meat will have texture. It will pull apart in chunks, not shred into stringy mush. And you can see the chicken's origin, often from a farm within a few hundred kilometers, not a massive industrial complex 3 states away. It's transparency you can taste. Number 3. Roast your own simple chicken at home. I know, you're busy, but hear me out. A fresh whole chicken from a reputable supplier costs $8 to $10. Rub it with salt, pepper, and a bit of oil. Throw it in the oven for 90 minutes. That's it. You control the ingredients. You control the salt, you control the sourcing, and the flavor. It will blow any supermarket bird out of the water. The skin will be crisp, the meat will be juicy, but not waterlogged, and you'll know exactly what's on your plate. If you roast 2 on a Sunday, you've got meat for sandwiches, salads, and dinners for the entire week, without the industrial aftertaste. The difference is night and day. When you carve into a home-roasted bird, the meat has structure. It doesn't collapse into a salty puddle. The juices are rich and flavorful, not thin and briny, and you can save the bones for stock, getting real value instead of paying for water weight. It takes less time than queuing at the deli counter, and the result is something you can serve with pride. The real cost of cheap chicken. Let's do the math. A $10 supermarket chicken that is 20% brine means you're paying $2 for salt water. A $15 butcher's chicken that is 100% meat means you're getting 50% more actual food. When you factor in the better nutrition, the superior flavor, and the fact you're not feeding your family a chemistry experiment, the expensive option starts to look like the smart one. The industrial system is banking on you being too tired to notice, too stressed to care, and too budget-conscious to question. But once you taste real chicken again, you can't go back. The blandness of the supermarket birds becomes glaring. The saltiness is overwhelming. The texture is obviously wrong. Your palate remembers what real food tastes like, and it won't be fooled again. Final message plus call to action. Australian food culture has been sold a lie. We've been told that convenience equals quality, that a cheap chicken is a good chicken, and that ethical labels guarantee ethical practices. But the moment you bite into a real roast chicken, one that hasn't been pumped full of salt water and spun through an industrial system, you taste the difference instantly. The system is designed to confuse you, to make you think you're too busy to care, and to sell you water at meat prices. But you have the power to change it. Next time you're grocery shopping, walk past the rotisserie section. Head to the meat aisle, grab a whole chicken, and roast it yourself. Or find that local butcher who still does things the right way. Vote with your wallet. Support the farmers who are raising birds properly. And tell the supermarkets that you're not going to pay premium prices for a product that is 1/5 salt water. If this video opened your eyes, hit the like button to help other Aussies see the truth. If you want to protect your plate from more supermarket tricks, subscribe and turn on notifications. And in the comments, tell me, which chicken shocked you the most? Was it the Costco goop, the macro fake free range, or the Aldi salt bomb? Let's start a conversation the supermarkets can't ignore.